Hello children, let's have a recap of compound interest from beginning till end. The first and foremost basic formula we have is compound interest without formula is P1 RT upon 100. It's just PRT upon 100. Now it depends upon whether it's the first year, second year, third year, but compound is always given by PTR upon 100 where time is always 1 year if it's yearly or half a year if the method is half yearly or half yearly. See children, by default it's always yearly. It's always yearly. If not given, it's always yearly. If it's half yearly, they'll specify in the question. The other formula we have, amount is equal to P1 plus R upon 100 raised to power of n. That's method yearly. P1 plus R upon 200 raised to power of 2n. That's for half yearly method. Let's see examples of these children. Question says, a man invests rupees 5,000 for 3 years and it amounts to rupees 5,600 at the end of first year. Now children, they want us to calculate the rate of interest. Interest for second year, amount at the end of third year children. So one by one, first children, we got the amount as 5,600 and we got the principal as 5,000. So the interest children accordingly, compound interest for the first year, which is same as simple interest for the first year. Children, remember that, always remember. Compound interest for first year is P1 RT upon 100. Compound interest for first year is also P1 RT. Simple interest for first year is also P1 RT upon 100. So they have the same value. In this particular instance, it is rupees 600. That's the value of CI1 or SI1. Then children, with the amount being, principal being 5,000, we can do CI1 is equal to P1 RT upon 100 to get the rate. That's 600 is equal to P1, that's 5,000 into rate into time, which is 1 upon 100. This cancels, this cancels. This cancels with this and this cancels, just to give you 12%. 4/8 is equal to 12%. Now children, they've asked us for compound interest for second year. So children, CI2 would come out to be P2 RT upon 100. That's principal for second year 5,600 rupees. Rate 12 into time, which is 1 upon 100. This cancels with this and you're left with 56 times 12, which is rupees 672. So principal for third year or amount for second year comes out to be 5,600 plus 672. That's principal 2 plus CI2, which comes out to be 6,272 rupees. Now children, CI3, compound interest for the third year children, would come out to be P3 RT upon 100. P3 is 6,272. Rate is 12 into 1 upon 100. Here children will first multiply. That's 6,272 times 12. Which comes out to be 75,264 upon 100, which will come out to be 752 rupees 64 paise. And children, to this we add the principal, that's 6,272, to give us the amount at the end of 3 years, come out to be principal 3 plus CI 3, which on adding comes out to be 7,024 rupees 64 paise. So children, here we have seen how we have applied, we worked it without the formula, just applied CI for different years and got to the answer. Let's see another example in which we apply the amount formula. Question says, find the amount in compound interest on 1600 rupees on rupees 1600 for 2 years at 5% per annum. Children, here we'll use a formula. Amount is equal to P 1 plus R upon 100 raised to power of n. Well, principal is 1600 rupees. Rate is 5% per annum. And time is 2 years. So children, the amount accordingly comes out to be principal per month. Principal, that's 1600. 1 plus 5 upon 100 raised to power of 2 cancels with this to give you 20. That's 1600 times 21 times 21 upon 20 times 20. The 0 will cancel and this will cancel with 4 times. 21 squared, children, is 441 times 4 is 1764 children. So children, this is the amount, and the compound interest accordingly would be amount minus principal, which is 1764 minus 1600, which is 164 rupees. So children, here we see how we can use the formula directly and come to the answer. Just apply the basic formula and the answer comes. Let's see an example of half yearly, children. Find the amount and CI on rupees 8,000 at the rate of 10% per annum. Compounded half yearly. Half yearly for 1.5 years. So children, in a sum like this, we'll use this other formula, which is half yearly. Principal rupees 8,000, rate 10% per annum. N is 1.5, children. N is 1.5 years. Subheading 8,000, 1 plus 10 upon 100, 200. It's about 2 into 1.5, that's 3, cancels. Now children, it's 8,000. 21 by 21 cube, children, we leave it as it is. And 20 will cube it up. Cancel. 8 and 8. We give 21 cube, children, and 21 cube with the help of logbook, children, we can find out is 9261. That's the amount. So compound interest, children, accordingly would come out to be 9261 minus 8,000. That's amount minus principal. That's 1,261 rupees. That's the compound interest, children. There's also another formula, children, that we can use when you calculate the principal by yearly method. That's amount is equal to P 1 plus R upon 100 is to power of n. And then if it's like 2.5 years, children, if it's like 2.5 years or 1.5 year, so first 2 year and then a half year. Half into 2 would come out to be 1 and R upon 200. So children, it can be 2.5 years, 3.5 years, whatever. It can be 2.5 years or 3.5 years, depends upon the question. Let's see an example to understand that. Question says, find the amount in 2.5 years on rupees 5,000 at the rate of 8% per annum. So children, here we'll use the formula amount P1 plus R upon 100 raised to power of 2 into 1 plus R upon 200 raised to power of. Its principal is 5,000, 1 plus R, which is 8 upon 100, 1 plus 8 upon 200. Now children, will cancel with 4 2 times, with 25 times, cancels with 8 once, and 25 times. That gives us children 5,000 times 27 by 25 times 27 by 25 times 26 by 25. Now children, this will go into this 200 times, this will go into this 8 times. You're left with 27 times 27, that's 27 squared, which is 729 times 26 times 32. Because children, when you multiply and divide by 4, you'll get an answer of upon 100, which is a vulgar fraction. Vulgar fraction, children, means the denominator is a multiple of 10, 100 or something. Its denominator is 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, something of that sort, which makes the calculation easy. So that's the amount you would get at the end of 2.5 years at the rate of 8% on a principal of 5,000 rupees. Let's see few more sums children to elaborate on this concept. The simple interest in 3 years, the SI in 3 years and CI in 2 years at a certain rate is 1200 and 832 respectively. Find the rate of interest. Principal. Difference between them. CI and SI in 3 years. So children, we begin with simple interest for 3 years equals to 3 times simple interest for 1 year, which is equal to 1200 rupees. Therefore, simple interest for 1 year, which is the same as compound interest for 1 year, is 400 rupees. Because it's 1200 upon 3. 1200 upon 3 is 400. Now children, we have CI1 plus CI2 as 832. Putting in CI1 as 400, children, we get CI2 is equal to 432. Now children, we apply the formula. CI2 is equal to CI1 1 plus R upon 100 raised to power of n, that's 832. 432 is equal to 400, 1 plus R upon 100 raised to power of 1. This will cancel with 408 times. So children, that give us 108 upon 100 minus 1. That's 8 upon 100 is equal to R upon 100. 100 cancels children to give you rate as 8%. First part. If you know the rate children, we can find out the principal, that's CI1 is equal to P1 RT upon 100. Children, compound for first year is 400 rupees. Principal for the first year is not known. Rate is 8 upon 100. The 8 will cancel with this. give you 50 times 100. The principal for the first year is rupees 5,000. Now children, to find out CI for the third year, we will do CI3 is equal to CI2 1 plus R upon 100 raised to power of 1. That's CI3 is equal to 8432 1 plus 8 upon 100 cancels with this 25 times, cancels with this 2 times to give you 432 times 27 by 25. This children will give you 432 times 27 divided by 25, numeric value of 466.50. Therefore children, CI for 3 years would come out to be 832 plus 466.50 children, which comes out to be 1298.50. Now children, therefore the difference between CI and SI will be 1298.50 minus 1200. That's 98 rupees 58 paise. That's more what the person would have got because of compound interest, which he wouldn't have got if he had given it for simple interest. Just remember that. They never ask you sums based on simple, it's always on compound interest only, but just remember that. Let's see another example of mixture of compound interest yearly and half yearly method. Question says the difference between compound interest for a year payable half yearly. That's amount difference between CI payable half yearly and simple interest on certain sum at the rate of 10% for a year is rupees 15. Find the compound interest. So children, what if we do in a sum like this? We will first find out the principal and then we can simplify to find out the compound interest. We'll let the principal be rupees X, rate is 10%, time is 1 year. So children, the formulation is compound interest minus simple interest is rupees 15. Compound interest formula children, the compound interest formula, which is CI is equal to amount minus P, which is P1 plus R upon 100, 200 in this case, to the power of 2n minus 1. Taking P common, children, taking P common, we get P1 plus R upon 2 raised to the power of 2n minus 1. So that's principal is X plus, let's start on the formula first children. That's principal 1 plus R upon 200 raised to the power of 2n minus 1 minus PRT upon 100 is equal to 15 rupees. Principal is X, 1 plus X R, that's 5 200 raised to the power of 2 times 1, that's 2, minus principal rate time upon 100, cancels with this to give you 40. Let's simplify that children. So we get X 41 upon 40 squared minus 1 minus X by 20 is equal to 15. That's taking LCM children. 41 squared minus 1 squared, that's 1681 minus 1 upon 1600. We take the LCM, children, this 1 would become 1600 minus x upon 20 is equal to 15. That's 81x upon 1600 minus, now children, we'll take LCM here. To get 1600 from 20, to get 1600 from 20, to multiply it by 80, children. To multiply it by 80, so we get this. So x upon 1600 is equal to 15. X is equal to 15 times 1600. 15 times 2 is 30. Times 8 is 240. And the 2 zeros. So children, the principal being 24,000. The principal being 24,000 rupees, 24,000. Difference between compound interest and simple interest at the rate of 10% for 1 year would come out to be 15 rupees, children. That's a way of solving a sum which involves simple interest and compound interest both. We simplify to come to the final answer, children. Let's use an example to understand some more concepts. Successive rate, children. Successive rate's formula is amount is equal to P1 plus R1 upon 100, 1 plus R2 upon 100, 1 plus R3 upon 100. It goes on, children. It can be many more years. It can be 2 years or 3 years, 4 years. But they usually ask it in 3 years. That's why I've written the formula for 3 years. Question says, find the amount and compound interest on rupees 10,000 at the rate of 10% for 2 years and 12% for third year. So children, principal is rupees 10,000. Rates 1 and 2 are the same at 10%. For third year rate, children, it's 12%. So use the successive years formula. Amount is equal to P1 1 plus R1 upon 100, 1 plus R2 upon 100, 1 plus R3 upon 100. That's 10,000. 1 plus 10 upon 100 squared, because it's the same rate, and 12 upon 100. Children, this will cancel with this, cancels with 425 times, cancels with 43 times. That's 10,000 into 11 by 10 into 11 by 10 into 28 by 25. Children, these two zeros will cancel and this 25 will cancel this 4 times. So you're left with 121 times 4 times 28. That gives you the amount as 13,552 rupees. So the interest, children, comes out to be 3,552 rupees. That's a compound interest, children. So children, this is the formula for different rates. Let's do the example. Find the rate percent at which rupees 8,000 will amount rupees 9,261 in 3 years. So children, in a sum like this, we're just going to use the formula amount is equal to P1 plus R upon 100 raised to power of n. Amount is 9261, principal is 8,000, x upon 100 to the power of 3. Bring the 8,000 down, children, so it's 9261 upon 8,000 is equal to 1 plus x upon 100 raised to the power of 3. And children, now we cube root both sides. We cube root both sides. That's cube rooting we get 21 by 20 is equal to 1 plus x upon 100. Bring the 1 here. We get 1 by 20 is equal to x upon 100. Cancels with this 5 times. So the rate is equal to 5%. So at the rate of 5% per annum, children, 8,000 will amount to 9261 in 3 years. The last set of formulas, children, we have got is depreciation, where for depreciation amount is equal to P 1 minus R upon, it's change or reduction in the value, children. It's reduction in the value of a vehicle. It's reduction in the value of an asset. It can be vehicle, it can be land, it can be anything. It's reduction in the value. And for any reason, if it's appreciation, children, we'll apply the same compound interest formula. That amount is equal to P1 plus R upon 100 raised to power of N. That's depreciation and that's appreciation. This is depreciation, children. As an example to understand that, find the value of a scooter, of a bike valued at rupees 90,000, rate of depreciation is 5% for 2 years. So children, we take amount is equal to P1 minus R upon 100 raised to power of N. That's the formula. Principal is rupees 90,000. Rate is 5%. N is 2 years. Let's apply that, children. That's 90,000. 1 minus 5 upon 100 raised to power of 2. So that becomes, children, 9,000. It's 20 minus 1, that's 19 by 20 times 19 by 20. So cancel, this will cancel, so cancel, this will cancel. Now I'll cancel this 45 times. I have to multiply and divide by 2. That's 45 times 19 times 19 to give you 16,000. 245 divided by 2, which gives you, children, rupees 8,122 rupees 50 paise. That's the value of the bike at the end of 2 years. So children, this is a recap of compound interest where we've covered all the different formulas we can possibly have. Thank you.